12 Spring CIAC Championship games were broadcast live on the NFHS Network and CPTV Sports, and we've got highlights from all of them. We're going to start things off with boys lacrosse. Class L, Darien trying to cement its place in history, one of the top CIAC teams, unbeaten all season. The Wave come crashing out, blitzing Simsbury early. That's Kevin Lindley converting the Hudson Hamill pass to give his team an early 5-0 lead. Simsbury trying to stay in it here. Colin Walsh makes one of his 9 saves as he tries to hold Darien off. And then just a few minutes later, it's going to be Torben Wonderly. He's going to collect the loose ball out in front here and finish it off. That makes it 8-2 in favor of Darien about late in the second quarter. But from there, just too much Darien as they would respond and take a 10-goal lead into the half, then score 6 more in the second half, capped here by this sparkling shot from Nick Green, and that was going to be plenty for Darien. Time winds out. Darien celebrates its dominant win, a third straight championship, an undefeated season, and its second straight championship in Class L. On to Class S, Summers versus St. Joe's. St. Joe's trying to become the lowest seed to win a CIAC boys lacrosse title. They started fast, as this goal from Nick Celentano gave the Cadets a 3-1 lead late in the first period. Summers would completely turn things around, scoring 5 unanswered goals over the first and second, capped by that tally from Michael Munson. Puts them in front there. It was a 2-goal lead at halftime, but the third period belonged to Summers as they poured in 7 goals, including this great Russian score from Christian Pally, his 8th, putting them up 13-4. St. Joe's not done, getting 3 goals in the fourth with this quick shot coming from Chris Kablonsky. That cuts it to 13-7 with just over 3 minutes left, but it was not nearly enough. Summers, as they comfortably saw it out and earned the Class S trophy, their first title since 2006. On to Class M, a rematch. Daniel Hand and New Canaan was after a defensive first quarter. Daniel Hand gets this Zach Centema score to cut into New Canaan's early lead, and it looks like we've got ourselves a ball game. But New Canaan took over from that point, holding down Hand while methodically piling on goals. Here, great ball movement and finish from Jackson Appelt right before halftime. The Rams' defense was stifling, keeping the Tigers off the scoreboard for more than 25 minutes thanks to saves like that one from Drew Morris, and then continued the strong play later in the contest. This nifty little pass, and then a finish for Matthew Biscella, giving him a hat trick in the game, and the Rams are going to pile onto the field. They are once again atop of Class M with the championship victory, 13-2 over Daniel Hand in Class M. More New Canaan, this time in girls lacrosse, as we start with Class M, and it's a defensive battle between the Rams and Joel Barlow through most of the first half, but we're going to get here Jetka Gray taking advantage of this 8-meter opportunity, puts it home, and Joel Barlow heads into halftime with a 2-1 lead. But things started to turn around in the second half here. Catherine Granito causes the turnover, runs in, and takes it herself. That's her third score, knotting the game at 3, and New Canaan starting to find its rhythm a little bit. Then later in the half, Samantha Stewart twisting her way through. That gives New Canaan a 4-3 lead that they would not relinquish, and it sparked a run of 3 goals in 30 seconds to help the Rams pull away. From there, it was also the defense keeping Barlow on the outside, shutting the door, getting saves like that one from Carolyn O'Day, one of her 8 as the Rams took control, outscoring Joel Barlow 6-2 in the second half. New Canaan, your Class M Girls Lacrosse Championship. That's a consecutive Class M title and the program's 4th title in the last 6 years. Now we're going to move on to Class S, 2 teams that know each other quite well in Canton and Summers, both looking for a first title. Canton roars out of the gate. This is Grace Giancola. Get used to hearing that name. She winds her way through and scores less than 2 minutes in, has her team in front. They would score the first 4, but Summers battling back, cutting into the deficit. This is going to be Danielle Hollister coming up with the rebound, the loose ball, and puts it home, and it's a 2-goal game late in the first half. It was all Canton from there. Here, Giancola again winds her way through, bounces at home, puts Canton on top by a 6-3 margin, and then a 9-goal onslaught in the second half. Here, watch this pretty feed to Devin Daubert. She converts the feed from Kaylin Oliver, and it is Canton running away with this one. They will celebrate as time winds down. Its first Girls Lacrosse Championship, Class S. Canton is your Class S Girls Lacrosse champion as they pile onto the field celebrating their dominating performance. Familiar foes again in Class L, Darien taking on Fairfield Ward. Mustangs are going to cut the edge to 1 here with Libby McKenna finally ending up with the ball. She's going to convert to make it a 1-goal game early in the first half. Then the Blue Wave began to roll. See them here? They get the save at one end. They're going to quickly transition their way into the offensive zone, and then after moving around with the ball here a little bit, quickly coming into the offensive end. And then just a minute or so later, it's going to be Kaylee Morrill finding her way through. That's the first of 6 unanswered goals over the final 17 minutes of the first half to take control. And then more of the same in the second half. Susie Ropp scores there. It was actually 3 goals for each side in the second half, but Darien had built up that big lead. Susie Ropp converts that one, and it was Darien coming away with a championship. Its 4th straight, which is a new CIAC record in girls lacrosse. More Darien, this time in the boys volleyball Class L final, taking on Ridgefield, team they know well. We pick it up late in set 1. We're going to get plenty more sets here, don't worry. Darien's Alex Preston, he's going to go off the block, and it's a 25-18 victory for Darien in set number 1. Now on to set 2. Was tight early, but Ridgefield started pulling away late. This is a team they played in the championship match last year. You're going to see some great defense from both teams here in this clip as they managed to scramble and keep the ball in play. Ridgefield earned the title against Darien last year, played them several times during the regular season, unable to come away with a win. But here, Nicholas Ladetti, there's one attempt at it. He's going to get another attempt at it here later in this point as both teams continue to scramble. Here's Ladetti again, goes cross court, gets the kill, and that would move us on to set number 3. On to set 3. We're all knotted at 20 until this big swing, once again from Preston, middle of the net, puts it down, and Darien is in front just a few points later. Let's hear that name one more time. It is going to be Alex Preston again with the finish. Darien now in front 2 sets to 1. They are looking for that title, but now we move on to set number 4. Ridgefield not ready to give things up just yet, starting to inch away from set 4, get the nice dig, and then the kill from Jack Lincoln to extend their lead in set 4. And now later in the set, once again, we're going to get a big finish from Ryan Miller. And then, just a few points later, Ridgefield ramping up the defense, denying it at the net. We're going to decide the Class L boys final in 5 sets. Ridgefield started fast in set number 5, so now Darien trying to fight its way back into it again. It's going to be, after they keep the ball alive here, it's going to be Preston once again, one of his 30 kills in the match. Darien trying to hang on and earn a championship in Class L, but in the end, too much Ridgefield here as they serve on championship point. Watch the block at the net, the big block, and it's down. Ridgefield, a 3rd consecutive state championship in Class L. They get the job done against Darien. They are your Class L boys volleyball champion. How about a little outdoor track and field? The State Open kicked off that championship week for us. We're going to start with look at a few individual events. First, in the girls 4x800, which was the first event of the day, Glastonbury runs away from Ridgefield to earn the victory, set a new State Open record in a time of 9:10.65, getting the meet off to an excellent start. Now we're going to look at the girls 300-meter hurdles, one of the tightest finishes of the day. Again, it's Glastonbury. Danielle Brinkman in the blue, dueling with Gabrielle Curtis of Wilbur Cross. And a tight finish, it's Brinkman who captures first, narrowly edging Curtis. Looking at the team competition, Bloomfield jumped out to an early lead on the strength of this victory in the 4x100, running a time of 46.96. That gets them some critical points. And then later on, in this tight finish of the 100, Bloomfield's Erica Belvit is going to finish just behind Kanadze Brown of Bridgeport Central, earning 8 points. You're going to see it at the finish here. Coming in second comes Belvit, earning 8 points and helping the Warhawks to a 3rd Open title in the past 5 years. Congratulations to Bloomfield. This is Eric Vanderels of Brian McMahon, one of the most dominant performances on the day. The senior won the 3200 at the outdoor meet last season. This season, he takes aim at the 1600, and as you can see, he pulled away from the field and even running all alone, still smashes the open record, posting a new record mark of 4:08.42. Also following up on success from last season, you're going to see here in just a moment, was Weaver's Mark Doyley, as Vanderels also congratulates his teammate who finished second in the race. Weaver's Mark Doyley, who won the 100 and 200 last year at the Open, this year already with a win in the 100 under his belt, runs a great turn in the 200, and again is going to double up as he pulls away from the field here. Tremendous race for Doyley as he earns a victory in the 200. On the team competition, big day for Wethersfield on the team side. Here in the 4x100 in the white, the team in the middle of the track can't quite catch Bloomfield as they're going to come to the finish, but they do hold off Windsor for some critical points early on in the 4x100. Then later in the day, some more points, this time with Elijah Young in the 400. Once again, he is going to pull away. He was also second in the 200 in that race we showed you against Doyley, but here he runs a time of 47.87 to win the event and help Wethersfield earn the program's first state open track and field championship. Great day for Wethersfield and for Young. Unfortunately, we weren't able to bring you championship coverage of all of the games this weekend, but wanted to recognize those champions in Class M boys volleyball. South Windsor with a 3-0 win over Joel Barlow for its first title. Class M softball, Seymour blanks Rocky Hill for its 10th championship in that sport. Cheshire blanks Amity 5-0, undefeated season, and Class L title, Class Double-L title for the Rams. Holy Cross repeats in Class S over Notre Dame Fairfield, and then in Class L, it's Fitch 2-0 over Massac, a 27-0 season for them. Move on to baseball now, starting off in Class L, where it was a wild weekend all weekend long at Palmer Field. East Lyme trying to bounce back after losing in the championship game last year. Starting fast, Matt Abbey, that's a 2-run double into the gap in right center field. Quickly, 2-0 East Lyme on top of Notre Dame West Haven in the Class L final. East Lyme starter Dylan Feeney would keep Notre Dame off the board all the way into the bottom of the 7th, but here, Mike Tornero puts Notre Dame West Haven on the board with a single to left. That's going to keep the game going and keep Notre Dame West Haven's dreams alive. And then after loading the bases loaded, 1-run game, bottom of the 7th. Notre Dame West Haven trying to keep this alive, trying to bring home the tying run. Dylan Reynolds, hit by pitch, brings in the tying run, and we are headed to extra innings. East Lyme would manage to get out of that bases-loaded jam, but then could not score in the top of the 8th. And then with 1 run already in on an error in the bottom of the 8th inning, it's the top of the 8th inning is Tornero again singling to right center. 2 runs are in, and Notre Dame West Haven is the Class L champion in extra innings. On to Double L, which was also a thriller. Fairfield Ward and Amity, top of the 1st, with a run already in, raining hard at that point of the game. Eli Oliphant, he's going to rip this double into right center field. 1 run comes in, 2 runs come in for Amity, and they are quickly up 3-0, looking for a record-setting 4th straight baseball title. Oliphant would keep Ward at bay until the top of the 6th, until that man, Giacomo Brancato, does that. A blast to left center field. That's going to tie it up, 3-run home run, and we've got ourselves a whole new ball game here as Brancato. Read up online some of the great stories about that young man. A remarkable moment for him as he's able to tie the thing up. On to the 7th inning. Amity has the bases loaded, looking with 2 outs in the 6th. Ward trying to get out of the jam. This is the bottom of the 6th inning. Bases are loaded. Ward trying to get out of it. That's a ground ball to short. They will make the play and get out of it. We're all tied heading into the 7th. Then in the 7th, bases loaded again. Would Ward be able to get out of it? No. That ball is high and outside. That is your average walk-off walk. Amity, a 4th consecutive Class Double-L baseball championship. Unprecedented. That is a new CIAC record. Class S, Morgan against St. Paul. We're here joined in the top of the 1st. St. Paul already with a run across. Zach Parent is going to add to their total with an RBI single through the right side, and that's a 2-0 lead for St. Paul. Morgan wastes little time tying things up, plating 1 run in the bottom of the 1st. It's going to be A.J. Fritz. You see his name right there. He's going to ground out to make it 2-1, and then the tying run would come up in the 3rd on a wild pitch, so we are knotted at 2. Still tied at 2 until the 7th. Morgan Hurler, Cooper Thompson holding both teams down. Bases loaded, 1 out. Sacrifice fly. Michael Dombrowski brings that run in. Throw gets away. That's going to bring in another run, and St. Paul is suddenly on top 4-2, needing just 3 outs to claim the Class S championship. And from there, Connor Crean, the St. Paul hurler, they've got the tying run on base, but he fans 3 in the inning. That's his 13th strikeout of the game right here. St. Paul with its first baseball title since 1972. And then the game that opened up the weekend, all the drama you would want. Game 1, Class M, Wolcott versus Northwestern. Pitchers in control until the bottom of the 5th, and until that moment, James Urbanski opens the scoring. That's a ball up and out to right field. That puts his team on top. Northwestern going to answer right back, though, As you see Urbanski circle the bases here, he puts Wolcott on top 1-0 in the bottom of the 5th. But then into the top of the 6th inning, as I said, Northwestern answers right back. Lucas Griniak pulls it through the right side. The pinch runner Matthew Warren is going to come around to score. That's a 1-1 ball game, folks, through the top of the 6th. Then into the drama of the 7th inning. 2 outs, top 7. Wolcott's Isaiah Negretti-Flannery facing Northwestern's Bryce Ramsey, the senior catcher. Lifts this one into center field, but it's going to be in a good spot. Center fielder coming on, can't make the play. It falls in. Northwestern looking like they might have pulled this one out. Unbelievably, they're up 2-1, and then you may have seen this, you may have heard about this, all of the drama you can imagine in the bottom of the 7th inning, the tying run at first base. 1 on, 1 out, Ray Bartoli steps to the plate. The stage is all yours, young man.
Head pitch hit high, rather deep, going to carry to left field, towards the fence, and it's gone!
Oh yeah, that is a walk-off 2-run home run for Ray Bartoli in the championship game. Can you believe that? Unbelievable finish to that one in Class M as Wolcott earns the championship, and that is going to put a wrap on our championship highlights. What better way to end it than with that one? We thank our friends at the NFHS Network and CPTV Sports for providing such great coverage of that, of our championship weekend. Once again, we hope to have all of the championships for you next fall, winter, and spring. We thank you very much for joining us for this championship highlights presentation. Be sure to check out all of the action on the NFHS Network and CIACsports.com.